It was just another late-night haul. My trusty Kenworth rumbled beneath me as I cruised along Route 66, heading west toward Albuquerque. The road was quiet, the kind of stillness that only comes in the dead of night. I'd been driving for years, so the solitude was familiar, almost comforting. But tonight, something felt off. I'd stopped for fuel about an hour ago. The air was unusually cold for late summer, and the gas station was deserted except for an old man behind the counter. He barely looked at me, his eyes glassy, muttering something under his breath as I paid. I shrugged it off. Weird locals were part of the job. But now, as I drove through the endless stretch of desert, I couldn't shake the feeling that I was being watched. The hairs on the back of my neck stood on end. The road ahead was empty. No headlights, no taillights, just the black asphalt stretching into the void. I glanced at the clock. 2:35 a.m. Still a couple of hours to the next town. I rubbed my eyes and took a swig of bitter coffee from the thermos beside me. I needed to stay alert. Then I saw it, a flicker of light, bright against the darkness. I hit the brakes instinctively, my heart pounding. There was nothing there, no car, no truck, no sign of life. But then it happened again, a flash, like headlights reflecting off glass. I squinted through the windshield, trying to make sense of it. Nothing. Just my mind playing tricks, I told myself. But the unease didn't fade. If anything, it grew stronger. The lights flickered again, and this time I saw it clearly. A figure standing at the edge of the road. I slammed on the brakes, the truck screeching to a halt. My heart raced. The figure was tall, cloaked in shadows. It didn't move, didn't twitch, just stood there, frozen. I stared at it, trying to figure out what I was looking at. A hitchhiker? Out here, in the middle of nowhere, at this hour? It didn't make sense. I grabbed the CB radio. "Breaker, breaker," I said, my voice rough. "This is 213 on Route 66. Anyone out there?" Static crackled back at me, no response. I glanced at the figure again. It hadn't moved. A cold shiver ran down my spine. Before I could decide what to do, the figure moved. Slowly, deliberately, it turned its head to face me. Its face was hidden, but the movement was wrong, unnatural. My foot hovered over the accelerator as the figure stepped onto the road. The headlights caught it briefly, and I saw enough to know it wasn't human. Its skin was pale, almost translucent, and it moved in a stiff, jerky way that sent a chill through me. I slammed the truck into gear and hit the gas, desperate to get away. As I sped down the road, I checked the rear-view mirror. The figure was still there, standing in the same spot, watching. It didn't chase me, it just waited. The road stretched on, my headlights cutting through the darkness, but no matter how fast I drove, I couldn't shake the feeling that I was being followed. Then I saw it again, a flash of light, a flicker of movement. I slammed on the brakes, my heart in my throat. In the rearview mirror, two glowing eyes stared back at me, bright, unblinking orbs piercing the darkness. The figure was there again, as if it had never moved. It hadn't followed me, it had just waited. A cold sweat broke out on my skin. My foot hovered over the accelerator. "Keep going," I whispered to myself, but the words felt hollow. I tried to push the fear down, but it clung to me, tightening its grip. I looked ahead, my hands trembling on the wheel. The road seemed endless. No turns, no exits, just the vast, empty desert. I glanced back at the rearview mirror. The figure was gone, but the unease lingered. I could feel it. Something was watching me. Then I saw headlights in the distance. Another truck. Relief washed over me. Maybe they could help. Maybe they could tell me I wasn't losing my mind. I pushed the truck faster, my heart racing with hope. But as I got closer, the headlights didn't grow larger. They stayed frozen in place, always just out of reach. And then, without warning, they vanished. I slammed on the brakes, the truck skidding to a stop. My breath caught. The lights were gone. There was no truck, nothing. I grabbed the radio, my hand shaking as I turned the dial. But all I got was static, cold, empty silence. That's when I saw it, a truck appearing out of nowhere, directly in front of me. It was the same one I'd been chasing. It had been waiting for me. I tried to swerve, but the steering wheel locked. The brakes wouldn't work. I was trapped. The truck loomed closer and I braced for impact, but it never came. When I opened my eyes, the road was empty again. I hit the gas and sped down the highway, desperate to escape. But the darkness never lifted. The road stretched on, but I wasn't moving forward. I was stuck, caught in an endless loop. And then I heard it, a low buzzing hum, filling the air. I looked out the windshield. The figure was there again, its glowing eyes brighter than ever. It was waiting for me, and I was driving straight toward it.